Hello everybody, my name is Renee and welcome to the Go Within channel, where I help people to go within themselves to find their own answers. How to accept your own friend request. The title just makes me laugh. I think it's great. We so often accept the friend request of others, yet, using this as a metaphor, we are not so kind and friendly to ourselves. Why not? And what do we do about it? So I have some ideas for you and a little bit of discussion about it. Get to know yourself and your mind. Well, this sounds simple, but how much time do we devote to really understanding and knowing ourselves and to knowing our minds? Sure, we may know what we like and dislike and the things we're good at, but do we know those darker corners of our minds? Those parts that maybe we don't want to look at? The dark side of ourselves, and we all have a dark and a light side. But how often do we venture into that shadowland to discover some of these deeper hidden aspects of ourselves? These parts that we already know subconsciously that we don't want to look at because we don't like them, or we think that there's something wrong with those parts. Many times we run from this and we live our lives without ever going to these parts of ourselves that actually contain lots of hidden gems disguised by being something really bad and flawed. So to get to know these parts, we have to invest considerable time to being with ourselves. If we fill up our lives with so much busyness and things to do and obligations, and we're running here and our schedules are just packed, we will have little time for going to those darker parts. Or rather, we will be so busy that those parts of ourselves will stay suppressed and quiet until something in life allows them to come up, usually something outside of our control. I understand this whole idea of keeping yourself so busy that the truth of your life has little chance to catch up with you. Because sometimes when our day isn't packed and we don't have much to do, and the phone's not ringing and our text message alert isn't going off and the email isn't beeping and the phone isn't blowing up, and suddenly things get quiet. And then it's sort of like, whoa, not much going on today. I'm not being pulled here and here and here. And it's quiet. And in that quiet, what comes up for you? I know from my own experience, sometimes when there's that quiet, I'm thinking, hey, why isn't my email blowing up? Why aren't my text messages sounding off? Because I love it, if we're really honest about it. I think we kind of, even though it's like, oh, more to do and we're getting pulled, but it's also kind of exciting. And that the beep and bing and, ding of all the different apps going off on your phone or the things to do gives you this little squirt of dopamine in your mind. And it's like, awesome, things to do, places to go, I'm on and I'm going. And when you don't have that, and all these other demands, and things get quiet, what comes up? What demons come up? What feelings come up? It may be that good feelings come up. You may be saying, yes, finally a break, I can just be with myself. Or maybe you're looking forward to that time. Oh, I can't wait until I got this little spot in my afternoon while I just have a couple hours to myself. I can't wait. And then you get there and then you fill it up with something else, so you're actually never actually being with yourself. Or maybe you're looking forward to the time and then it comes and then you're actually in distress, because in that quiet, what comes up is what you have been suppressing and pushing down. And maybe it's some discomfort. Maybe that little quiet time or that day or weekend feels really lonely. And you would give anything to not feel that way. You would give anything to just make this bad, uncomfortable feeling go away. I don't want to feel it. Please, I need some stuff to do. I need some things to busy myself with because I don't like this. I don't want to feel it. You may be aware that you feel that way like I just described, or you may not know and be actively acting out some other default escape mechanism. So once we become aware that we are in fact running from something, then we can do the work and and get in there and understand this and heal, then we can allow ourselves to feel these uncomfortable feelings. I think we all want to feel good feelings all the time, which is why when uncomfortable feelings come up and pain or looking at parts of ourselves we don't like, we tend to want to run and employ some means of escaping ourselves. But when you can't escape yourself and you have to feel, then what? Well, then we have this option of accepting our own friend request. We have the opportunity to look at ourselves, feel these uncomfortable feelings, and move past them. Because when we're in that space, it feels like, is this gonna always be this way? Is this feeling gonna last for days or weeks or months? And even though we may logically know, no, it won't, but at that time it's like, it's that uncomfortable. And the better we get at facing these feelings, the shorter these periods of discomfort and these uncomfortable feelings will last. This is what it means to get to know your mind. The good parts are easy. It's easy to know the good parts of yourself and those parts of your mind. Not so easy to get to know these other parts that we don't want to feel because they're uncomfortable. So my encouragement to you is when these times come up, to notice them and to be with them. Don't abandon yourself right here. This is crucial because this is a critical growth point. Let these times be your teachers. Let them just be these golden moments. Sit with them, befriend them, be beside that feeling. Notice it, say, okay, I feel really uncomfortable. I don't want to be with myself. I don't feel happy. I don't feel connected. I don't feel content. I just want to run from myself. Just be with that. Be aware of it. Don't try to change it. Notice it. And it will change. I can guarantee you that. The good feelings, those will change too, even though we want them to stay around all the time. I want to feel good and happy and content and at peace all the time. But that's not how it works, unfortunately. The second big point I want to make is, why is it so important in the first place to accept your own friend request? Well, because if you're not friends with yourself first, what does that leave you with? It leaves you open to being swayed by the opinion and the approval of others. And always be looking for, what do other people think of me? Oh, I said this, but maybe they took it this way. Now they think I'm this and that, and that's not what I meant, and maybe then I need to explain, and I gotta do all this other mental gymnastics, and then you're thinking about it and analyzing it. Yeah, done that quite a bit. So if we don't have that sense of self solid within ourselves, and we're living our life kind of being blown around by what someone else thinks of us, it will not be a very content and peaceful life. We won't feel good about ourselves. We're always externalizing our sense of self. We're never grounded in who we are. That's crucial and so important that we learn to cultivate that. Because we can never truly know what other people think of us. Many times we just get a glance or maybe a quick text message and we interpret that a couple different ways, or we interpret it one way that is not how they meant. Or someone says something and it came across one way, wasn't how they meant. So how do we truly know? We can't necessarily, or can't always truly know what someone else is thinking of us. And if we did, that shouldn't supersede our own feelings about ourselves. If we don't accept our own friend request, it makes us dependent on these opinions of others. It makes us sort of at its mercy, and we can't really truly be happy if we're operating from that place. It's sort of a way of operating from fear that we're not good enough. I'm not good enough to believe in myself. I may not be enough. I don't trust myself. So what if I think I'm good, I'm a good person, and I'm adequate and I'm enough, and actually I'm not? So when we're operating from that place of fear, it sets us up for a low self-esteem and having this fundamental sense of, I am inadequate and I sure hope no one else finds out. So I need to protect that. I need to guard that and kind of put up a mask or put up a really big, thick wall. I don't want anyone to see underneath that I'm broken, because if you see my brokenness, maybe you'll leave. And if you see my brokenness, maybe you won't like me, maybe you won't think I'm a good person, and that's gonna hurt. I'm gonna feel really bad about that. So that is the fundamental flaw in having that kind of thinking. And that's why it is so vital that we give ourselves our own approval. No, that doesn't mean we're perfect. It doesn't mean we have it all figured out. It just means we're doing the best we can. We believe in ourselves, who we are, in our goodness, in our worth and our value. And we're learning and growing every day, like most people. So give yourself your own approval. That doesn't mean you're perfect or you have to be perfect. It just means you love yourself, darn it. You give yourself credit. You believe that you are enough for today, right now, with who you are, is enough. Let yourself be authentic and let that real you come through. When you accept your own friend request and believe in yourself, it's so much easier to be authentic. You don't have to put up the facade. You don't have to put on the mask every morning. You don't have to put up the armor to try to keep people away from seeing you. Showing who you are and believing in yourself, that's going to give people courage to also do the same. It also may freak them out a little bit too. I get that all the time. But being authentic and being true to yourself is going to feel so much better than having to armor up every day before you go out into the world, or armor up before you go to your partner or your spouse, feeling like you can never show your vulnerability, never show your softer side, never show the fullness of who you are. To be able to relax into that and to show who you truly are around people that you have close relationships with is wonderful. So, just a few thoughts for you on how to accept your own friend request and why it is so important to be your biggest fan, to be your number one cheerleader. So I hope that that has helped. I really do. And if you have any questions, comments, please leave it for me below the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you will like, share, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.